First scene picks up with Sir Elian, the Lost, riding into Carline on our way back home. You can see that the city is well garrisoned, almost on high alert. You're scrutinized at the castle gate for a long while, well before you're allowed entry. What do you say is your purpose for entering Carline?
To pay homage to the new King of Escavalon, I guess.
To whom? The guard says.
She just kind of shrugs. She's like, I don't know.
We'll escort you to the Archbishop. And with that, we begin our session. All right, y'all. The year is 508 still for this group, but tonight will be the finale no matter what. We're going to do some vignettes. We're going to get dramatic. We're going to figure out what happens. We've got some important things that happened last session that cannot be ignored and have changed everything. Shout out to Commodore Zed and the subscription.
Hey.
All right. With that, I'm going to do this in random, folks, at random, and we're going to go from there. We're going to get around to y'all more than once. So, we're going to stay with Elian. So, Sir Elian, you are brought to the Archbishop Dubricus. You remember his name. He's been Archbishop for a long time. Looked a bit younger when you first met him. He is a very aged
How
man.
long
at
ago
this
was
point.
that?
Yeah. 30 years?
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Let me see. No, about 35 years? Somewhere in there. Yeah.
So she might have still been higher.
Sorry?
Yeah, I think she's been a knight first.
Yeah, you're good.
No, actually might be.
It was when you were younger. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway.
Significantly younger, yeah.
The Archbishop looks at you. Says, you were friends once with Nanteleod, yes?
Yes. He was a friend and a mentor.
And you heard about his fate last year?
I was there for his fate last year.
He nods. The records I have on you from ages ago is that you are of primitive faith. Have you converted yet?
I've been in a county and manor that follows the old faith. So, no.
So you haven't had the opportunity then?
I have not.
We can see to
felt the
that
calling.
changes. At any rate, they say that you came here to swear to the king. Who do you think you're here to swear to? If this is a Nicole doesn't remember, that's okay. But just let me know what you're thinking here. Okay. That makes sense. I didn't even know that existed or forgot.
It's from ages ago.
Right?
Like, among my first few episodes.
Yeah.
And we've never again used it.
Okay, so how do you want
a
to
joke
interpret
now.
how do you want to interpret this role?
Remind me how the Archbishop and Elaine were related again.
You don't really know. Yeah, there's not really a direct linkage between the two. Not historically. Not till this year. What you're aware of, okay, but you do have some insight from this year, sorry. What you were
Yeah.
aware of is those rumors that the Archbishop is backing Sir Elaine as a not legitimized bastard, but illegitimate bastard of Nanteleod, and the one closest to the heir, effectively. Because there's no one else in the family.
How does the numbers add up for that?
Yep.
Like
it adds
ages.
up. Yep.
It adds up
It adds
like
up.
it could be.
Yep. He would have been young.
Okay.
Nanteleod would have been a teen, like a late teen, if that happened.
Wait, so that would have been around the time Alien knew him.
Sure would have. Give me an intrigue test. Let's see how far back your memory goes. You can also give me a folklore test.
7? So that's a success.
Yeah, you remember when Modron was still king, there was an event with the Brecken. You remember, it was the only time you ever remember until he not only getting a little past where he ought to be in the drink, but also flirting for the first time quite publicly with a noblewoman of the Brecken. A young maiden, basically, around his age. Now, you always thought, well, it probably ended very normally.
I mean, she's also pagan, so normally.
But it ended, you would have thought it ended in a chaste way. Now you're starting to double guess. And with that, Dibricus nods and says, you are a pagan. And I need to hear from your words truthfully. You are here to bow to the rightful king. There is one who pretends to be such a king. Sir Kedrick. And you would remember that name as Nanteleod's best friend growing up. You also remember, because of who you are and because you are a person out of time, that Kedrick was of sort of tribal nobility, someone who was seen as one of the Ciliers, sort of the son of the last Ciliers chieftain before Vortigern got involved.
So I also have an alien sheet that she is also the Celeries. So
Yeah. So as you're contemplating this, he says, I can see that you are coming to an understanding of the conflict. There are those that back the old tribal chieftain's son, and the rest are here in Carline. You are cousins with... You're cousins with one of the... No, two of the knights of Nanteleod, yes?
yes.
Then I regret to inform you that Sir Cormac has been slain.
Was Cormac also the foster of Finnegan?
Yes.
And I also know that Lucius agreed to something stupid to get a certain sword back for a certain.
Yes, you do. Yep.
Not just agreed to, made an oath to do something
Made
stupid.
an oath to do.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at that too hard right now.
No, it's a story irony. It's okay. You're good.
I think Elian is also having that moment, and they probably do not know what she's internally processing right now. I'm just, okay, A, I'm sad, yeah. B, oh my god, Lucy.
I'm going to give you, because you already had intrigue past. You get the impression that given this hostility, if you're walking in here and you're not swearing an oath to Elaine, they're likely probably not going to be wanting to let you walk out.
Yeah, I gathered.
Not necessarily murder you. It depends on how suspicious you are. But they probably don't want to let another veteran knight go join forces with who they would consider the rebels, right?
You haven't considered any peaceful options going forth? That would have been Nanteleod's way.
How do we sue for peace with those that would rebel against us? This is the rightful king's capital and his lands. I do not know kings to share very well. It's a shame that Nanteleod did not have the opportunity to announce Elaine as his rightful son. He did intend to, but the complications with the Winter Prince meant that he had to keep such things delayed until the Winter Prince was established as the King of Logres.
Okay, so what I'm gathering from this is he thinks his archbishop is full of shit.
You're cutting out a bit, I think, because you're quiet.
I think that she does think this archbishop is full of shit. But she also is not thinking this is anything because I felt suspicious. I'm thinking she's trusting that it's nothing nefarious.
Right. Like he's got something in mind or maybe making something up, but not necessarily in terms of this
not for
particular
nefarious purposes. It's more like, I think this is the best way to go for Escavalon. I'm trying to take power.
Okay. So
that's what I'm getting from that suspicious roll.
Yeah. The Archbishop presses and says, we can arrange that you are able to swear your fealty immediately if you wish.
I have only one question. My cousins and I, you understand, are also of Solaris. Even if we don't want to follow our chiefsman who claims to the old chieftains, we don't want to be put down, as Vortigern did.
Basilia's people are strong within this kingdom and this land. Not all are pagan rebels. We will sue for peace upon surrender. That is the king's desire.
I, to be honest, really don't have any religious interests. But I will tell you that my heir is Christian.
Oh, good. Thinking about the next generation.
She was raised that way by her mother. I never saw any reason to challenge it when she came into my guardianship.
Indeed. The king will accept pagan vassals as well.
I appreciate that. Although I know the old ways are dying.
Indeed. Shall I have the men escort you then to swear fealty?
Thank you. I remember Elaine as being very loyal to Nanteleod in his interests.
Okay. And we're going to kind of skip past this, but we'll give you a courtesy test. The ceremony is very formal, and you don't really have an opportunity to ask Elaine much because there's like 30 people in here. But he doesn't look like
She's
he looks.
done this before.
Yeah. Yep. So it's very formal. He says, "I remember your name. My father spoke highly of you."
She kind of arches a single brow when he says father, but doesn't say anything about it.
Do you want to make an intrigue test to decipher whether or not? I will say, before you do, you have suspicious
I crit.
Elaine. Oh no! Crit. I'm not even gonna fuck with that then. Yep. He sounds like he believes it. There's no sign of him not believing that.
Huh. Does she think that he knew this before? Or is this, like, new?
Yeah. You think he was in on the information? And you look at his coat of arms and you notice distinctly just how much his own personal coat of arms actually resembles Nanteleod. It's like a familial linkage. Most assumed it was because he was the constable. Does not seem that is the case. At least...
She's now looking at him even closer, just kind of overlying how she remembers what Nanteleod looked like at that age. Or younger.
He looks a little different. Not a lot of Nanteleod's features.
Previously established that Nanteleod had baby face before he grew the beard.
Yeah, Elaine does not. But if it was that Brecken woman's...
She doesn't remember the Brecken woman.
Well, they're notably, hill tribesmen. Formed hill tribesmen. So,
was the Brecken woman particularly attractive?
She was attractive.
Might remember her then.
Yeah. But yes, with that, the ceremony comes to an end. Yeah, you added a war for her. That's hilarious. Yeah, you barely remember, though. It's like, imagine...
I remember she was attractive.
For you, it was about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And with that, we're going to move forward.
I remember she was good looking, and I was like, good to go. Good job, Nanteleod. That's a nice one.
We shift to Collis. Collis, you were in the capital when you heard word of the defeat. The death of Sir Cormac. So Rune and his retinue did not return.
So emotional.
I don't think Sir Collis would... Actually... Go ahead and do this. Since Sir Collis is very political. I think Sir Collis is kind of made of sterner stuff, so he probably won't show any outward emotion to the news. I think he's more of assessing the pieces on the table and trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, you got to pass. Sir Hugh, one of Cormac's knights. Squire, actually. Well, so not Sir Hugh. Hugh. Squire. Someone under Cormac's retinue. Someone who served one of the knights beside Cormac. Makes their way to you, Collis. Sir Collis, I'm here looking
Aye.
for a knight to serve.
It's a serve. If I remember correctly, you served under Sir Cormac, was it not?
Aye, one of the knights that served under him.
Have a seat, will you? I have some questions. I know you've likely been questioned already, but I need to understand what exactly happened.
He sits down, nervously.
Now,
He doesn't volunteer anything. He waits for you to ask.
from the beginning, how did the battle start?
Chaotically, there was a call for charge by Sir Gwydir. He led the siege. We were ordered to stay behind Cormac. And he stops there.
I'm assuming the siege progressed well, since Sir Gwydir was leading the charge. But something happened. Was it traitors?
He's got like, he just stares off for a minute. I'm just a squire, Sir Collis. I don't know what I don't know.
You were here, so you fled. So you know something happened. Why did you flee the battlefield?
The battle turned for the worse. It's really not my place to say. You know a little, you know a bit about this, Collis. He, as a non-knight, his word means jack shit.
Were there any that survived? Any knights that survived that, pray tell, can give me some information?
No. None that are not prisoner. None that are aware of what happened. I'll tell you what I saw, but if I say it, I only ask that you don't draw attention to me.
Don't worry. On my honor as a knight, no attention will be drawn to you. Now speak.
Sir Rune's retinue defected. They ordered for the surrender of Sir Cormac's retinue. Sir Cormac thought otherwise about such outcomes. It was Sir Rune's men that killed Sir Cormac.
Carlos will stand up and stride to the window, his hands behind his back. Are you sure?
Indeed. The rest of Cormac's army will be found in, if they are kept alive, they'll be found being held in Cardiff as hostages.
Did you happen to see Brigadier at all?
He was he was on the walls when I was ordered to flee.
He's likely captured. Sir Cormac dead, Brigadier captured, and the army broken. We stand at a precipice, young squire, and decisions need to be made. And he'll turn to the squire with like a smirk on his face. But that's neither here nor there. Please go to the guardhouse. I think they have some open positions on the wall. If I see a place within my household, I will send for you. But for now, I think it's best if you stay low for a while. Especially with information like that.
I will be sure to do so.
And then once he leaves, he'll wait a couple of seconds for like his footsteps to disappear. And whatever table he's sitting at, he'll flip it over and start
Yeah.
rampaging a little bit. And then finally sit on a chair in the middle. Just everything about him is strewn apart, sitting in the middle, sort of tapping his thumbs together, thinking about what to do next.
In enters Sir Bedouir. Bedouir, you had survived the battle but lost sight of Gwydir along the exit when the orders for retreat happened. Gwydir seemingly... I mean, you had strong confidence that Gwydir would be very unlikely to surrender. He was in good enough shape to get out, but you lost track of him in the chaos. Worse than trying to leave after a major event. Leave a parking lot after a major sporting event. That kind of vibe. It was just pure chaos. It was not an organized retreat. You're here to report back to the next standing leader, which is Sir Collis. We'll pick up with that scene.
Collis. Bad time.
Bedouir? No. Perfect time. What is it? Actually, servants, please bring Sir Bedouir some refreshments and clean this up. Why don't we go outside to the back?
Probably a wise choice, Sir Collis.
He'll lead the way, and there's like a small table out there. Now, I assume you have some information of what happened.
Nothing too specific. I was on the walls. There's Sir Gwydir. And for whatever reason, chaos. Something happened in the back. And then fought to the death trying to get away with the retreat. It was not clean in any case.
And it is
I don't
bad
even know what the
as I've
final
heard.
damage is.
And Sir Gwydir?
Lost him in the chaos, but he was making good headway getting away.
Well, once he hears the news, I think he'll launch into a frenzy.
What news is that?
You don't know? About
He
Sir
just got
Cormac?
back. I saw nothing from where he was at. What happened?
I've heard news that his retinue was betrayed, and sadly he did not make it.
Betrayed by who?
I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure out the remainder of this information.
That explains the chaos in the lines then. Pity, we were making good headway as well.
Have to recommend decisions, but I don't know where to start. The army is broken. We'll slowly have men trickle in, but the only thing that may save us is the onset of winter.
It's worth noting, as you mentioned, that the fighting season is basically over. I think past this would be foolish to launch any sort of military campaign this time of year.
I suspect we won't have to worry too much about any fighting this year, anyways. We should be able to regroup with the rest that survived. The Archbishop likely has plans as well.
At the Archbishop's name, Sir Carlos will spit on the floor. Archbishop. Yes. He'll make decisions, make plans, all in the king's name.
Little smirk from Bedweir at that. Not a fan, I see.
And in cloth giving orders to a man in mail. It's not right.
Fair enough. Well, if you'd be so kind, I wouldn't mind traveling with you if we need to. If we regroup, that is your course of action. If not, then I will have to depart to rejoin the forces for winter.
Yes, I don't mind a companion. Someone to watch my back as the rest of the swords have dispersed.
Heard from none other.
No. No information yet.
All right. And before we leave that scene, Collis, where do you intend to go? Do you intend to stay here in Carline? As you kind of are in the last point of the, good season before winter comes?
I think Sir Carlos would talk to his, I don't know if his retinue had gotten there yet, but he'd probably talk to them about make sure we're ready to leave if we need to.
Okay. Making sure you're ready to leave, but planning on wintering here?
For now, yes.
Okay. So before we leave the scene, the good news is Elaine is once again still slowly recovering, but he's back to making public appearances. He's seen moving under high security through the castle in Carline. We'll dip away from that scene. We go to Gwydir. Trent, why don't you set the scene for what we see here as we pick up with Gwydir and his squire?
Are you happy for me to time skip to the end of winter?
If we're going to do the end of winter, I'll maybe go to Rune first.
Yeah. Okay. Is that okay? Yeah.
Yep. We'll cut to Rune. Rune, you are in Cardiff at the time. You've been welcomed in with your family and the others who serve here. What does this look like for Rune?
I think he'd. I think Ruin, the first thing he does after seeing to Cormac's body, which he will keep guarded with his own personal man. He'll go to his brothers, the two that were fighting inside, or look for them, see if they even survived.
It's a good question. Oh my god, they both died
Fuck.
in the battle.
I think. I think something breaks in Ruin. He. Damn, he's going to grab a wineskin. He's famously tempered, but he's going to break that too. He already broke oaths. What's the worst? What's the worst thing than that? Um, and I think he is definitely not like drunk and stumbling around, but he is probably maybe like in a catatonic state on the walls, looking like into the distance, just like with a 1,000 yard stare, probably cursing God and many times that he spent on his knees, like praying for such things to not happen, and the only things that that kept like answering and you know having stuff work was the pagans, the spirits, the monsters, the fake things that the church keeps hiding away from the people, and I think he set out to the woods alone, see if he finds something, anyone, anything.
I want you to make a love family roll. Let's see if this is madness. Just melancholy, which is kind of reflective of what you were already kind of setting. We're going to give you that hunting roll -5 as you set out into the woods. Oh, yeah. Yep. Roll me 2d100. Yep. When you're out here, you're riding through the forest, and the road kind of turns in a weird way. End up lost for a time. It's getting cold. Late fall now. It's more the air than any threat of snow. But the air bites and it makes it hard to sleep at night. While you're riding through here, you come across kind of a path and follow it. And it leads you into kind of a thicket of thorns. You're able to get past it, but not without wounds. And then you look down at your hands. You see blood. And the blood reminds you of the battle, which is now set in your mind. The betrayal that you really didn't set out to do. Not, at least not to Cormac's death. And you break for a time. Roll me a d20. Well, I'm just going to see if I can hold this open here. One night, you kind of like ride till the point of exhaustion, still uncertain of where you're going. There's a party that doesn't even care. And you actually fall off your horse from exhaustion. Just 1 damage. Nothing. I mean, you would have had time to heal before you set out here. You fall off your horse, and you kind of just lay there till you fall asleep. in your dream, from like the eye, from an eagle eye view, not from your own eye, you see something approach your corpse or your body, and you see that it is the visage of a horse, maybe. But as it comes into a better vision, a better view of your dreaming self, you see the horn that protrudes from its head. Now, they say that unicorns are never sighted by anyone but virgins, but you're sleeping. Does that count? You're a man with a daughter and a wife, family, so that certainly doesn't apply to you. Yeah, this is, in fact, a unicorn. It hovers over your face, and it seems to snort, like breathe on you. And you see this fog mist as it does so. You awake sort of at the, almost like stirred awake from this moment. The effects of the unicorn's breath, and you can take quite a while actually, because we're going to move to another vignette soon. But the effects of the unicorn's breath are your senses are restored. What that means to you is up to you. I won't interpret that as, but whatever it was that was unraveling your mind, you've found a path forward, clarity forward. And you can, we'll see what that looks like when we come back to you in the year 509. We cut away to 509 now. Alien, you had made it back to your manor, awaiting news of any war, a call for muster, training your squire, your heir, settling in to things. I'm just setting that scene. We're not going to dwell here. We're going to go to Gwydir. We'll come back to you soon. But I wanted to leave you with a sense of where that was your destination. You did get there after you swore. Once you were sworn to the king, you were treated as a guest, or as welcome. We cut to Gwydir now. We haven't seen since he left the battle after it collapsed from behind.
Gwydir is in the background. There's trees of a forest. He's carrying some lengths of timber, a hammer. There's a bag of nails on his belt. Some sort of an orchard is in front of him, and he's working. You can see that the last of the winter snow is sort of pooled around the bases of some of the trees around the area. The first little new leaves are just starting to pop out of the orchard trees. He's not wearing a shirt because he's working. He's sweating, even though it's cold, because he's putting a lot of energy into what he's doing. He's covered in scars. This is a guy who's been wounded 50 times over the last decade of war. Some deep and savage and pink and ragged, and many nice sort of fine slices over his body. They're all healed, and he's still moving well. He's massive, like the Hound from Game of Thrones. And drops his bundle of timber, takes one of the stakes, drives it into the ground, and starts hammering, constructing a fence.
Where is Frida, where this is taking place? She working beside you?
I think she just arrives. I think that maybe she arrives from a trail or just from the forest. Yeah.
We see your Saxon squire you took on after the battles with the Northern Saxons. She rides up to you, tilting her head to the side, almost confused by Gwydir's here laboring like a commoner.
Yep.
And she'll dismount and walk your way. You're not going to try and kill me again, are you? By approach?
He kind of sinks his head, with a little smile, and just sort of shrugs. I don't think I'll be killing anyone. Not anytime soon. It's nice to see you. Do you have... He kind of looks over her shoulder back into the forest to see if there's anybody with her.
She is alone.
Looking at about the height of a child. And he nods.
She looks at both your hands and says, not killing anytime soon. You have your hands. What's the matter?
He swallows. It's kind of thick as he does. I don't. He sighs. I don't know. I don't. I. And he sort of looks past her into the distance, and his eyes kind of glaze over a little bit, and he sees like a flash of the body of King Nanteleod on the ground, covered in blood and mud. He's, not the noble, handsome king that he's sworn to and spent his life serving and earned all these scars serving. He's just a mess on the ground. And then it flashes to Cormac, dead on the ground. He hasn't necessarily seen the body, but he's as he was fleeing somehow in the battle, he's caught this image. And, dozens of wounds, spear wounds, his the banner of ruin in the background. And Cormac's massive body, this guy who has fought through so much and survived so much trauma and difficulty and kept coming back. And he doesn't move. And then he sees Elaine's body alive, apparently, but, from what he can remember and what he can tell, in a coma on a table. He kneels down and he grasps his hand desperately, over the top of Corlys's, hoping that something will come, some life will come. But, in his heart, he knows there's nothing there. And he thinks of Saroon and what he's done. He thinks of Serain, who's disappeared. Cormac, dead. Corlys, who wasn't there. And I think he cries and he holds Esfrida.
Her eyes soften. She isn't really used to these sorts of emotions in the culture she came from. Not from warriors. Not in public. But she just there's a sense of understanding. Do you mean to retire?
Yeah. He just kind of nods into her hair.
And she is of what age at this point?
21. Yes, she would have just turned 21 over the winter or whatever. Yeah.
She'll clasp your shoulder. She's quite a bit shorter than you, but she is tall for Well, she's Saxon, so they tend to be a bit taller in general.
Mhm.
Probably like size 15. So it's maybe not your shoulder, your arm.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like,
She's
what,
tall.
20 or 19 or something like that size?
19, yeah.
Yeah. She'll do that, and she'll say, I will find a knight in Carline who will knight me.
I'm not retired yet. He wipes his face and stands back. I'll be damned before I let anybody else knight you, my squire. I'll do it. I'll do it. Come. And he stands tall, wipes his face again, and marches back to like a little cottage. It's, a small thing made of wood. And he emerges with his sword belted on his hip and his shield. He walks out, and he's got his great sword is sheathed on his back, and he walks around the house and gets his charger and comes out to her.
You see from her perspective a smile on her face. Less from the fact that she's getting what she wants, and more from the fact that there's still a little bit of Gwydyr's pride coming through. She'll
Neil!
she'll do so.
And he'll go through the knighting thing. Make her
There's-
repeat after the words and such.
Do you do the full ceremony, or do you do the battlefield abridged?
Battlefield abridged. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you probably let me roll courtesy to see if he forgets half of it. No, he gets it right. Perhaps weirdly, he's kind of famously a little bit not necessarily forgetful, just nonchalant, But this is
Yeah, she looks impressed. I don't think she's ever seen Gwydir do anything of formal ceremony, like ever, maybe. Right?
Yeah, for sure. And then, she's looking up from her knee and he wheels his hand back to give her the slap. And then it just sort of like softens behind his head. He just reaches down and kind of, grabs her face like a parent would, and just gives her like a little shake. May this be the last strike you take without retribution. And then he gives her his sword from his belt and his shield with his heraldry on it. Arise, Sir Ethfrida.
These are yours.
Arise.
She does so.
And he forces them into her hands. And he nods and he pats the sword on his back. The great sword with the kind of snarky Christian, phrase written on it that Cormac tricked him with. May St. Michael bless your journey.
It's like the equivalent of like when someone gets a tattoo with Asian characters on it, but it really says like penis on it or something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He still doesn't know what it says. Nobody ever told him. But I'll be fine. I have this.
She looks to you and she's like, these are yours or your heirs. They will, I swear that I will return them to you.
Be careful with your oaths, Frida. Well, you're young. All right. I look forward to when you do. Treat them with honor. You'll need a proper horse And he goes and gets the reins of his charger. "I'll not have you riding back to your father with, well, that thing." He nods to her Ramsey. And he takes off. He's not wearing his ring. Those of you who've been following for a long time will remember that he made rings for all the swords of Nanteleod. And he's not wearing it. And Corlys gave them a collar for the swords of Nanteleod, and he's not wearing it. But they're in a little bag, which is on his belt, along with most of the jewelry that he wore to feasts and that sort of thing. When he was showing off, trying to impress, trying to get a cool seat at the table. "These are for your father, a gift. I would not have you riding back thinking that, well, my disheveled state reflects on what you now embark upon. So, take these home."
Very well. I think she refuses once because that's like culture or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? No one ever accepts
Yeah.
a gift on first ask.
"Stop it. It's boring. Just take it. Go."
With his normal words, I think she does. And I hope to see you again one day.
"You too." And he nods with sincerity. "I'll be here, wherever here is." He looks around, at the forest, which, up to Bob's discretion, may or may not have a slight fey twinkle in the colors of the leaves or something. But he nods. "Would you, on your way back, will you send someone to bring my boys? I missed them, and I have. You know where the things are. I have mail for them and arms and the like.
I will
bring it
bring
all."
them back for you. It's the least I can do.
"All right. Well, I'll see you sooner than we planned. Then I suppose it's all ruined the emotion of the whole thing. But all right. Good. Good."
She smiles, and we see her get on her horse, and we see her kind of like the emotion in her now that no one is watching her. She kind of tears up and like wipes her tears from her face and starts off. And with
"You're
that,
the best choir I had, even better than Lucius."
I'll be sure to tell him one day.
"Good. Get out of here, you scamp."
As she rides away, we cut briefly to Sir Elian. Elian, your manor is in the hills, yes? We
Yep.
watch as mountain men come down from the hills. A raiding party. But before we go there, we're going to take our only BRB for the night. We're going to take a quick 3-minute break, 5-minute, we'll say, just to let everyone use the facilities, grab water, etc. And then we'll be going through year 509. Stay tuned, folks, and don't worry if there was more you wanted to do in 508. We will get to some of that through the vignettes. So, see you guys soon. By default, nights start at 21 with Kimmer culture, Christian religion, Salisbury homeland, and a random family characteristic. You can choose different options for all these. There are 5 characteristics: size, dexterity, strength, constitution, and appeal. Size and con determine total hit points and unconscious value. Size and strength determine weapon and brawling damage. Dex keeps a character upright or horsed and is used for starting weapon skills and throwing. Con also affects healing rate. App covers starting social skills, attractiveness, distinctive traits, and seating at feast. Skills have base starting values, some determined by your characteristic scores. Most skills are straightforward, but here are a few unusual ones. Recognize is used for identifying people. Folklore for general and mythical knowledge. Battle for navigating battles successfully. And hunting for navigating Britain's dense forests. There are 13 paired traits, like chaste, lustful, or valorous, cowardly, where increasing one lowers the other. These define how a character naturally behaves. If a trait is 16 or higher, it's famous, meaning the character defaults to the behavior without rolling. Otherwise, in uncertain moments, a player can roll one trait of the pair. If it succeeds, that's the action taken. If it fails, the opposite trait is tested instead. Over time, traits can shift through gameplay. Passions show what your character cares about, like loyalty, lord, or love family. They range from unsung 1 to 15, famous 16 to 19, and exalted 20 plus. You can invoke a passion for a bonus, but failure can cause melancholy, creating a -5 penalty, or, in the case of madness, takes you right out of play. Famous passions are riskier, but exalted ones mostly help. In Pendragon, you roll a d20 and want to roll under your tested trait, passion, characteristic, or skill, like Price is Right rules. For contested rolls, the higher success wins, while the lower success is called a partial success. Sometimes you need to roll over a target number for challenges, like breaking down a door. Oh, yeah! Rolling exactly your tested value is a critical strike. Rolling over your tested number is a failure. Rolling a 20 on a failed roll is a fumble. Bad news. If your tested number is greater than 20, the extra value becomes a bonus to your roll. This removes failure and fumble risk while boosting your critical chance. Glory measures a knight's fame for their deeds, directly granting permanent increase to their character. To be a knight is to pursue more glory. The more glory, the more recognition, and the greater the benefits to your character. This concludes the basics for a player on how to play Pendragon. The GM can guide the rest. Check out my linked series to find out why you should play Pendragon. Elian, the manor you've just reclaimed is now immediately under raid. Give me a battle test to start this.
And I cannot impassion it.
Correct. You are caught off guard. Okay.
Success.
Your manor is somewhat fortified, but you have no staff yet. You've just acquired the place back. That would leave you and your squire alone to try and survive this. You do have a means, kind of an escape. Something your father built for worst case scenarios, given you're in the mountain. It'd take you down like a cave almost system underneath on the side of the mountain that would connect with the water nearby. You have a choice before you. You can choose to fight and hold this ground. Hope they don't kill you if they manage to make their way in. Hope they give up or move on. Or, alternatively, you can flee. In a scenario like this, where it's only you and your heir, and you have no other family, direct family, and you know that some of your family's now been killed, it would not be considered cowardly. It'd be considered probably prudent to escape.
Yeah. And do these raiding parties, they usually don't take the place for themselves. They kind of like raid it and then leave. Are they planning? Do I think they're going to
Well,
take it?
the problem with mountain men, because we'll say that you're quite familiar from you, is they don't exactly adhere to any customs of, let's say, rights of war and, you know, what we might consider honorable. They don't really necessarily adhere to any of that. They're most likely interested in pillaging your manor. But doesn't mean they won't do something else. It just means that that is probably what your... Do you have a hate or dislike for mountain men on your sheet?
Are they
Some
the
people do.
Reginog?
Close enough. but no. But I think for what was your level for hate of the Breckinog?
It's just 10.
Roll it. Let's start there. Okay, you haven't really been around for the Breckianog's sort of last 40 years of coming to be a little bit more of a culture, right? Like a modernized culture, let's say. What you remember of them is they're bad news. They do terrible things. They're sort of, you'd be like the equivalent of like a war criminal these days, right?
I
So
think she has this because they were responsible for Emmeric's death.
that sounds right. All right. So what do you want to do? You have precious moments.
She's going to take Mindwind and essentially flee.
Okay. Now, this will put you into a cave system. I need a hunting roll.
Okay.
All right. It's good.
I see you guys' hunting scores, and I'm like, how do you not die all the time?
You make it through the cave system. There's a brief problem as you kind of get to the end of it. Though it seems that the hills have had a lot of water this time of year. There's a very narrow step one would have to make to go from the cave system back onto land, but it risks landing in the water, and that risks getting swept in the water. And most Kimri are not known for their expert swimming skills. Yeah. This will be a dex roll to get to safety, and you can always do that thing where once you're at safety, you can help Mindwind get to safety.
Is this something I could impassion?
You can absolutely impassion this.
Okay. So that's +5.
Correct. Okay. You get to safety. By supporting Mindwind, she will automatically get to safety. There's no sense in a roll. She's over 15, and then you're going to give her a +5. You get to the side of the hill. Give me an awareness test.
Am I still impassioned or no?
Yes. Well, we'll say it's impassioned for the scene. Okay.
Yep.
It seems that this is a lot bigger than just a mere hill, like, raiding party. It seems to be almost an army moving down from the north. And you're certain you've got to make a break for the woods nearby if you're to remain out of threat, or go back in the cave system. I suppose that's the other option. Staying put, you have no cover.
How likely do I think it is that they will go into the caves?
They probably don't know about him. It's not obvious.
I think they're going to make a break through the woods. She doesn't really want to hole up in the caves. Seemed like a great idea to her.
Okay. To do this, I'm going to get you to make a contested roll. It's going to be your dex +5 versus their awareness.
Okay. I fumbled it, but I mean, unless they fumble.
No. What does this look like? So dex, okay, your feet are wet from having just, the cave like had a bit of, you know, it was not a dry cave. You go to make your way up this slight bit of hill, and you're slipping in the mud almost immediately, and you land with a little bit of a thud. It's enough for you to hear them call, "Someone's ahead!" And you can hear people starting to rush. What do? It sounds like a lot.
Can I hide?
You can try. It sounds like a lot of them. You're not so, like, if you were alone, this would be a lot better than being with Mindwind. The problem is you got to hide Mindwind too.
Can I tell mine when to hide and then not hide myself?
Okay. So you're going to play decoy? Is that the intention? Okay. Yes, that can be done. So you're going to break into the woods further, kind of loudly. Is that the idea? Draw their attention?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do.
Okay. And you have your orders to her, stay put, and you're going to do that? Just verify. Like in her hiding spot?
Yeah, in her hiding spot.
Okay.
Essentially.
Yep.
But also, I want her to know that not to expect me back necessarily. Like, assume I'm not coming back.
She looks terrified, but she nods your way. And with that, you break out into the forest. We see not only hill tribesmen, but hill tribesmen cavalry, or not cavalry, riders on ponies that are well fit for this kind of terrain. The horses they have are short and stocky, and they deal really well with this mountainous terrain. As you make your way, running as fast as you can, give me an energetic roll. You are impassioned.
We're good.
All right. You run and they give chase, but you keep moving through the forest. You know that this is just a matter of time. They're doing what an army would do to capture someone. They're, covering the flanks. They're covering all the ground. It's going to be very, very difficult to get away. As you look ahead, you see something. Fairy lore.
Yep.
You see a small little valley. One you rode through, not valley, but basically a clearing that is flat. With a low fog. And you remember this. You remember this precisely as the very point you crossed over the very first time you went. You have a few options here. You can hide, hope they don't find you. You can continue to run, but you know eventually you will tire and they won't because they're on horses. Or you can hope for the best and re-enter the Sealy lands once more.
Does it look like I have, if not all, then most of the approaching army's attention?
Yeah, well, you called for them, so it seems very much so.
I'm trying to discern if mine one has gotten an opening to
flee. It's the best shot she would have had, probably. Your intention played out as you envision it in your mind, as far as you can tell from where you are right now. And I say that because you don't have sight or any means. You don't have cam. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have enough high enough battle, and you succeeded at battle earlier. I will give you that it's likely like it was their best shot.
Do I think I can get any of them to chase the fairy?
You try. Very possible.
I would love to do that.
Okay.
I would love to drag as many of these breaking up into fairy with me as possible.
Give me an orate roll to try and sort of shout and be as loud as you can before you do the whole Merry and Pippin thing and run.
Hey.
Okay, indeed. You see there's like a whole convoy that gives chase to you, which is like probably a retinue of like 20 to 30. Not knights, but soldiers. Some on foot, some on these ponies. And you hear the order to chase you down and kill you.
I'm running into fairy and trying to get them to go after me.
We watch as you break an all too familiar ground, and you see the lands of the king Oberyn. The men follow suit, but ahead of you, that castle with way too many spires on it. The beautiful landscape, almost like it was, a modern golf course, just beautifully manicured. And we see knights in shining armor as they ride in your direction. They do not slay you. They slay every other pursuer, or all those who pursue you. And we put that on pause. We cut over once more to Sir Rune. Where do we find Sir Rune in the year 509?
I think at this point, he's probably left Cardiff, assuming that. Well, he had left to winter at Brecken.
You return to Brecken?
Yeah. So I think I want to make a little side note that the chain for the Knights of Nanteleod, or the Swords of Nanteleod, the ring, and the sword that he has that was gifted to him by Cormac, he's gonna leave at Cormac's grave.
Oh.
Or buried with him or left at the grave as he leaves for Brecken.
Okay.
While at Brecken, I mean, he is probably a shadow of his former self, trying to keep face for his wife and his children, and just waiting to see what the next year brings. Really,
Well, a couple of points there. I will note that the dream with the unicorn did, in fact, sort of recover your mind from whatever state of melancholy or madness it was in prior.
yeah, I mean, he's not melancholic. It's just still like on his mind that
Yeah.
all of this, and it still sucks a lot.
One of your men arrives. The door swings open and they're out of breath. So rude.
What is the issue?
Men from the mountains. They march. They march this way.
How many? A raiding party?
No, sir. A small army.
All the men. called Old Brecken. That's what he calls him now, the Old Brecken chieftain.
Okay. You have them. You called the men before you, right?
Yep.
They are here, including the old Brecken himself, an old man who really should be dead at this point, who is not.
He's still there.
Is he the guy that I captured in like the second game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
Well, no, that
God.
was one of his
my
sons.
best
It was one of his
advisor.
sons, but he was there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Do we know what this means? Is an army? We have heard movement from powers.
There's a new king in Powys. He moves to unite many of the mountain men, those who have not sworn fealty to Rians in the north. And Rians is kind of a newer name to you. Give me a recognize test on that, Rune. Okay. You've heard of some giant of a man that came out of the north in the Perilous Forest that has seized Norgales now in this last year and is threatening Gomerett.
Fuck. I don't say that.
Sorry.
It's okay if you do. You're called. Yeah, the Breckons wouldn't, be bashful about that.
Yeah, he'll say fuck. He'll let his mask slip a little bit. As he swirls a little bit of wine on his cup. Where he'll kind of like lean towards the old Brecken and ask, where do you stand in all of this? What are your thoughts?
We have never bent the knee to another people of these mountains. I'm old. I would rather die with a spear in my hand.
And we shall fight these tribesmen. Not for any kings down on the plains, but for us.
The men all sort of, raise their weapons, raise their glasses, whatever they have with them. They're ready to fight. This is different than some battle that kings call them to. This is a matter of their homeland and their pride. And you can feel that pride in them. What will you do with your wife and children, Rune?
Can't send them anywhere. They'll stay put for now. I think.
The only ally, and this would be a really dangerous sort of guess, would be sending them down into Estragales. But that could backfire.
Oh, wait,
I don't think you and Locke got along.
I'll send them to. Is there a window to send them to my oldest brother's manor?
Theoretically, yep.
Locke, let me see. I think I have something for Locke too.
You're going to check to see the king of Estragales, what you feel about him?
I literally have something for him.
Forgot you had that.
Yeah, nice.
I think he feels a little
Oh, wait,
more
hold
than-
on. Well, yeah, you rolled 19, so it would have failed. What's your vengeful naturally?
14.
Fails by 1.
Colors are worse. I'd send them with a letter, and I think, damn, this is a bad decision. I'll send them with a letter. Have them not have my colors. Kind of smuggled.
Right. And this is your brother that stayed out of things, right? That's who you're sending them to? The one that
No,
was
I'm gonna
gonna.
send them to college.
Okay. By way of Glevum, or to Glevum, like, or through the mountains.
The safest way that he would perceive it, the mountains probably, so they stay away from the roads and steer away from Carland.
Okay. And they're sent with a retinue, I assume, protectors.
Yeah, small enough to not, like, you know,
Draw
call
attention.
attention, but big enough to like spook away smaller bands of bandits and such.
Okay.
And the letter will say something along the lines of, "I know very little where we stand these days, but I ask you one last favor, cousin. Make sure that my bloodline persists if I'm to fall. Regards." And it'll have like 5 Libram company in it.
Okay, so last you knew, Collis was in Carlion. You know, he's got the beautiful wild barony, and in the middle is Glevum. Where are you sending them to?
It'll be Glevum to his wife. Well,
Okay.
he'd assume that he'd go back to
Glevum. And we'll shift away from that to Collis and find out from Collis specifically where did Collis winter?
I think after getting that information from the squire and Sir Bedwyr, Sir Carlos will have left the like a little apartment that they had in Carline, leaving only his fancy sword that he got from Sir Cormac, his golden collar, and his ring on the table.
The things that
And then,
represent your service.
yes. And it's almost like they vanished. And he will have gone to Glevum.
Okay.
But actually, first, on his way to Glevum, he will go and save his squire. Because his squire has literally been in captivity by bandits for probably a couple months now.
That's right.
Poor bastard.
There are more pressing
Okay.
matters.
Let's start with a hunting roll because this always goes well. Let's see. Let's see if you actually end up in Glevum or if something else wild happens. You can, sorry. Oh, didn't need it. I was about to say you probably can get a +1 or 2 from dogs, but yeah, you're a good enough hunter. You make your way into the Hereford where your poor bastard of a squire is taken. I'm assuming you're traveling with your conroy, like not solo.
Yes, with my
Okay.
convoy.
And the intention is not to negotiate.
No, we're going to ride them down.
Okay. I thought so. All right. I need a 7-5-3 roll. So this is pick one of these at 7. You want to get a 7 or higher. One of these at 5 or higher. One of these at 3 or higher. And it's going to be battle, weapon skill of your choice, and horsemanship.
Horsemanship will be 3 or higher. Battle skill will be, you said 7 or higher?
Yeah, is the hardest one. Yep.
7 or higher will be my sword, and then battle will be 5.
5. Okay.
So I'll roll my horsemanship first.
Good.
Sword. Battle.
Hey, look at that.
Right.
No problem. These bandits scatter, do you run every one of them down?
Absolutely.
Is this come from cruel or vengeful?
Let me check which ones. Vengeful. They're pretty much the same, so probably a combination of both.
Take one. Your choice.
I'll do vengeful.
Okay. You make short work of the commoner bandits that have flared up in the Hereford. This was basically the source of them, the ones that made Cormac's life hell before Cormac's passing, as well as who else did they mug? Was it you on the original? Yeah, it was you on the original way down. So, yeah, you make short work of them. If you feel confident that you basically caught them in their hideout and eradicated them. Your squire is quite thankful and has not been harmed, though is a bit frail. Like, has been not, fed enough to keep alive, and that's about it. But he can ride, just fine. We see you arrive in Glevum over winter. If you don't mind, I'm going to cut forward to 509 for you. Your wife, Helly, has called council. It's you, your favorite buddy, Siraviz, and her. She would only do this if there's something significant happening and underway. I'm going to scratch the Siraviz. I think this is you and her. I think you guys are married. I think she's going to keep this. She's a little bit more of a schemer. I think she's going to keep it there. She looks to you and she says, I expect that if things don't organize soon, Kalins will once again flare up the contest for Glevum. I've received a request from, I expect it's from the Archbishop, but it says it's from Elaine. The request that we bend the knee to the King of Escavalon and become part of it. It is a request. By that, it is Glevum that they seek, not the beautiful wild. I've also received word that the Supreme Collegium has been called in London. Logus will be seeking a new king. Or no, sorry, let me step that back. The island will be seeking a new high king.
Then I see no reason to, other than martial support, to ally ourselves with King Elaine.
Then we will remain neutral.
I think he does not have that much in military might to project any type of security for us. I feel like we will have to look inward for that.
Indeed. Give me an intrigue roll. She might be trying to keep something from you. Ooh. You see, after the camera pans, after you say that you see no reason to bend the knee to Elaine, you see her slide like a parchment to the side. Now you don't, Collis doesn't, but the camera does. And the parchment has the stamp of Estragales on it. As she shifts it like almost under a mat, kind of like slides it in a way while Collis is talking. He doesn't notice. So, what will be, if any, Collis's plans for this year, for this spring, for the good season?
It'd probably be getting good with his vassals, because I don't think he's really talked to them a lot since becoming a baron. And if anything, he wants to have, a stable power base in his own fief rather than looking outwards.
And when you say vassals, are we referring to the beautiful wild?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to simply roll a d20. If you get higher than me, you leave after, or Rune's retinue will get here while you're still here. If you roll lower than me, you leave, and then Rune's family gets here.
Okay.
We watch kind of Collis leave and return back to his fiefdom in Logris. And just a few days later, Rune's retinue reaches Levum. We'll move aside from that scenario. We move back to Carlion. We see Carlion through the eyes of Cormac. Bert. Bert's new character is what I meant to say. Cormac's, well, we haven't seen this guy for a while. Why don't you tell us, Cormac, about your maddened bastard of a brother?
This fucking guy. Sorry. I forgot about him. He's so annoying.
You might be muted. Yeah, you're muted.
You see, Amiens, before Cormac's father, went missing in Ferry, apparently, he marched off to the Saxon shore to fight over there. And Amiens is the result of an affair that Guilliman had while over there. He came back, say, 8-9 years ago, and found a connection between Nanteleod and Finnegan, and kidnapped Finnegan.
Sure did.
Nanteleod ordered Cormac to kill his brother. And in true Cormac fashion, he couldn't do it and told his brother to leave and never return. Because if he did, Cormac would kill him outright.
How do you spell his name?
Amyn. Hold up, I've got it written out.
I'm gonna guess Amyant.
Yes.
Okay. I think as Amiens returns to Carlion from his exile, being fully aware that not only Nanteleod is dead, but so is this Winter Prince ended up being Finnegan. The last bit of news came to him by surprise that Sir Cormac had fallen in battle last year. You make your way back into Carline. For what purpose?
Honestly, he is someone who keeps his ear to the ground. He knows Cormac ended up being given a manor. And as the next of kin to Cormac, well, now's the best time to go ahead and collect on that manor.
And you know, of course, doing that would mean getting in the good graces of the king.
I mean, he didn't sit there and piss off Elaine.
Indeed.
It was Nanteleod who didn't like him.
Amient is among dozens of men who swear their oath to Elaine, who is still recovering, but is seen kind of moving about now, fully, like, unhindered. We see Amient in that crowd, kind of a montage of each of them taking to their knee, kneeling, and rising as a knight in service. We cut to a scene with Amient. We've received orders. We'll put Bedweir in there too, because poor Jax hasn't had a lot to do here with his scenario. But I'm not sure who would be left to do the commander type role at this stage, but it is a older veteran commander, no less. They approach. We've received orders. We are to siege Cardiff once more.
I suspected as much.
You know what they say. If at once you don't succeed,
When do we leave?
We'll be ready by the end of the week, and we will march.
end
We
of the
see-
week.
Indeed. Seems weird. We watch from the perspective of the armies, Bedweir and Amient, as they arrive to siege Cardiff. A siege set from the east. And as the camera pans away, we see a second siege on Cardiff. Banner of Sir Locke. It seems that Estragales has sued peace with Ireland. And we see Cardiff between a rock and a hard place. Yeah. Good move on not going back there, Rune. We cut to Rune's situation now. We see Brecon under siege by this new army that calls themselves the army of the Sugales. This will be a matter of roles, Rune, with you in charge. We're going to see how this goes. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have the hardest of these we've seen so far. You're going to have 10, 7, 5. Battle, weapon skill of your choice, and siege. For siege, you will get a +5 bonus because of the defenses of this place.
Can I impassion?
Only one.
Only one of those. Okay. And so I gotta get over a 10, right? Over a 10 and how was it?
Yeah, 10, 7, and 5. You need to pick one of your skills of your choice and get a 10 or over. Pick one of the skills of your choice and get a 7 or over. Pick one of the skills of your choice out of those 3 offerings. So I'll write them here just so you have them. Weapon skill, battle, siege. And you need to pair them with a 10, a 7, and a 5. So even if you succeed at one of those rolls, but it's under whatever number you're pairing it with, you fail.
Okay, well, I'm gonna use a 10 on my sword. Let's see what happens. What stats? I'm gonna
That's-
use a 7 on my battle.
Nat 20 on the 20.
Yeah, the 7 on my battle.
Ooh.
And I'm
Only
gonna
got
use a 5 on my siege, which I will impassion for.
so +5 or +10. You got an honor of 20. I don't. Hold on. I do not think you have an honor of 20 anymore, my friend. But we'll still count it as a success.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. It's
Yeah.
technically 21.
Yeah. Yeah. That honor is down to about a 15 right now, but it's still a pass.
Fix that over here.
10 total.
If. Oh my God.
War dog. Double crit. Look at him go.
So Rune fends off an army double the size of the Breckons. Not alone. His men fight for him harder than we've seen an army fight in some time. These are impossible odds, but you've come out the victor. You know that this isn't the full strength of the mountain men or what Powys could throw. But you know that you've made a name for yourself here. A name for the Brecken once more. They will not fall easily. As the battle comes to an end, we see Brecken himself has been very wounded. He is on his deathbed. A wound that would normally not kill a man much younger is likely to take him through infection. We cut to you with your advisor. After this glorious victory. With his death, for the first time, the people of Brecken will be uncontested under you.
I'm not even sure how he is going to. He'll approach the deathbed, and he'll, make sure that everyone, like his family and such, had their time with him before he, makes his move. Kind of being the stranger, the outsider still, or at least he feels like he is. Once they've had their time, Rome will approach and kind of probably sit by his bedside and reminisce and say, I have done so many horrible things in the name of kings and other men and to the Brecken. Some of those things I did for you and for your people who were placed under me. I never felt quite at home. Although I really enjoy this place, I've grown quite fond. I guess I'll make this quick. I ask for your blessing to continue to lead your people. And if today was anything to show, then hell, maybe we even have a chance.
He calls one of his sons, who steps forward. And his effectively like aide, who serves as his voice while he's just weak. See that Rune is crowned in the ways of our people. And the son looks a little surprised. Even this man here, the aide, he does as well. And he says, "Are you? This is perhaps some delirium, sir." And he kind of grabs the aide by his collar and says, "Do as I say." And like with the show of strength, the aide's like, "Okay, no, he's that okay, yeah, I got it." He's still him. And as we depart from Rune, we see his crowning. Not like the kings of Logris or the Kimri, but a crowning of the old ways and the old people. We cut to call this, and we're moving towards end, folks. I know we're late as hell, but stay with it. It's a finale. Got to get through everything. We cut to Collis in the beautiful wild. We see your men. We see kind of with like music and montage, we see Collis sort of preparing men. And it's now that Collis receives a letter. We can read this letter as the audience. We see that a tournament has been called in Logris that will decide who the Supreme Collegium will name as High King. Now, most have very little odds of winning if they don't have a kingly level of soldiery to participate and fight under them in this grand melee. Hollis has had experience with tournaments before. Leo de Grants offers to have you ride for him. You receive no other formal offers from any other kings. You can enter on your own behest if you wish.
Sir Carlos will enter on his own name.
Okay. And we will review what that looks like, but at a later time. We cut to Sir Emiant with the news of Sir Cormac, and of course Cormac's children now being seen as missing. We see Sir Amiant arrive at the manor of Sir Cormac, a new vassal knight,
Oh, damn it.
and his brother's
As well,
knights.
he should be.
We cut to Gwydir, and we see first Ethrida returning his children to him.
I think Gwydir is he's singing. There's a broad river that runs past their little cottage, and he's singing and frolicking in the water with Lyriathar. And he turns and he sees them, and he's smiling. As soon as he sees them, he lays eyes, and he comes running naked out of the pond and just grabs his kids. And the oldest one's 13, the youngest and the second oldest is 12. So they're probably super embarrassed by a big, stupid, naked dad coming to grab them, but he does. And he sort of cry laughing, and he, grabs Frida's hand as he runs past. And then, Lyrathar is in the background, and she sort of pulls her hair back, and you can see that both of them have like a cludder, like a Himric wedding kind of knot, both on each hand. And, whether or not the ceremony was formal or whatever, he's committed. And he's playing with his kids. Sort of camera keeps panning back toward the house, and a dog comes running out. It's like a big kind of Irish wolfhound thing. And it comes loping out, confused by all the ruckus and stuff like that. And in its mouth, it's got what looks like a finger bone, which is gilded and covered with jewelry, and was the source of so much trouble for so long. And Joss just drops it. And as it runs past, its foot kind of tramples into the mud, and it runs up to the family. And starts tugging on the very oversized chainmail that the kids are all wearing.
Interesting. I like that. If there's nothing else of that scene, Gwydir, we'll shift away.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We cut to Sir Elian. And we watch as Elian makes her way into the castle. We see Sir Rain and those he accompanies exiting the castle and ferry. The two of you, though oh so close to 1 degree of separation, really don't know of each other and would have no reason to. Rain rides in the colors of Camliard, not in Escavalon, and Elian rides without colors, or walks rather, at this point, yeah. We see, and we'll get back to Rain in a moment, but we see Elian enter. We see the king from behind him on his throne. We see what could be a really dangerous scenario for Elian. But instead, Elian is given a palfrey and allowed to ride away.
Does he not take her armor back?
He does not.
Does he pay any?
I'm aware of who you served and who you fought for. You served the Autumn Princess. I have already taken one of her subjects captive. I need not to. Consider yourself pardoned, but banished. You are not to return here.
Does Elian know that the Goblin Knight is missing?
I don't think so.
I don't think that
That
came up
happened-
before she left.
Yeah, that was not discussed. You have no
It
idea.
was not discussed. She has no idea who was taking captive.
Yeah.
Does she... Is it a ransom situation? Does she know?
I have no idea.
I think she just kind of blurts that out during her audience.
That is not something we'll discuss with you. You're
Oh,
dismissed,
yeah, I didn't
Sir
realize
Knight.
it.
Doesn't sound like a ransom situation.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
I
As
mean,
you walk by, you see one of the fairy creatures kind of stands out. Clearly not Seelie. He has horns on his head. He's a bit taller. Did you ever meet Puck in his normal form?
I was there at the ferry or the
Yeah.
Goblin Market.
You
And
see
that's the
him.
only time she met him.
You see him standing in the audience of the king right now, and he simply bows to Sir Elian, very formally, almost too expressive. The guards move to usher you away.
Remind me, was Puck actually unseelie or was he just unalive?
You're not certain.
Okay.
He's definitely not Seelie.
He's definitely not. She makes note of that, but it also has nothing to do with her, so she doesn't think any more of it.
And you're escorted out. As you ride back across the crossover site, you see your lands. You see that your manor was in fact sieged. It was not burned to the ground. It will simply take some serious TLC, and you're in need of staff anyways. As you ride to Carline, where you assume Minewin went,
Mm-hmm.
you look overhead and you see Bird of Prey. Your sight kicks in and you see the soul of Finnegan. Of Eliwald. You have enough familiarity as a pagan to know that somehow his soul lives on in this bird, whether it be the bird itself or a manifestation of it.
Is it an eagle?
It is.
Damn the eagle. Okay.
We cut away from you. We see Sir Rain as he re-enters the land. Rain, I'll get a hunting roll from you.
Oh, here we go.
Fumble
I'm going right back in. Watch.
right back in.
Straight back
See you
in.
never,
It's just
loser.
that Grandpa Simpson just enters, exits
Yeah.
right away.
Heading door.
So bad.
Come on.
What's the worst
Yeah.
that could happen?
There you go.
Oh, I made it.
You wander through trails in a forest, which is where you came out of. You're not certain where you are. You guide. You can hear voices ahead. You hear an older man shout, "Come on, you two. We mustn't be late." You are in a retinue with the remnants of Cormac's, or not the remnants, but Cormac's family, right?
Yeah.
and it doesn't sound like bandits, it sounds like people bandits would prey on. Do you have any opposition to encountering them?
No, just clarifying that Rain's extra horse that he generally would have had would have been given up to either to Cormac's wife to ride on, in
Sure.
case we didn't have an extra one, because I know she's got kids to worry about too. So, but yeah, Rain would be out front and move in to investigate with his.
You can tell when you left it was autumn, and it feels like it's maybe late winter now. Maybe lost a few months there. You know, you're only gone a night. That's weird. Maybe it just got really cold.
Okay.
But as you don't make any effort to kind of hide yourselves on the trail, you come across them, but you find that they're at least on a more sort of major road as these three figures come into view. You see an older man, maybe in his 40s. Another riding on a charger. Fresh night for certain. And a boy in his mid to late teens. Give me a recognize roll, -2.
Recognize -2. Oh, this is gonna be bad.
Oh, so close. Still would have failed even without the minus.
Yeah.
There's something about this boy that, like, you feel like you've seen him before, but you're like, no, it doesn't make sense. You can't quite place it. It's not important. The man...
Does he seem to be any distress?
No, they're riding casually. Other than the man's, like, pressing them to keep up.
Right, just a pacing thing.
Yeah. And you hear the other two sort of arguing like siblings do. They hail you. And like, there would be nervousness, but you are literally with young kids and a mother. And this guy has a look like he's not exactly like a threatening guy. He looks really nice. But he says, strange place to find a traveling party. Are you hunting?
No, just traveling back to where my business takes me in Camilliard.
We ride through Caroheg as well.
Would you mind having some additional company then?
He looks around. He sees no one worth worry, you know, and he nods. Absolutely.
Good.
What is your name, Sir Knight?
I'm Sir Rain, Ep Ernan.
Ah,
I serve under King Leo de Grants, formerly a forester. For King
a good king,
Nanteleod.
that one. Nanteleod.
He is.
I heard of that loss.
Yes.
My condolences
quite
if you knew him.
I did. I was there. It was one of his swords.
I'm Sir Ector of Penelin. These are my sons, Kay and Arthur. And Kay says, "That's Sir Kay, father." And he rolls his eyes and says, "Sorry, Sir Kay."
Pleasure to meet you all. Seems that it's been good luck for me to encounter you. I got a bit turned around, it seems. We were traveling.
The forest has a way of doing that.
Oh,
Come then.
Happens quite frequently.
Let us find the warmth of a hearth. And with that, we end Nanteleod's legacy. With some unknowns. What happened with Rune's family? We know Lady Helly to be a little intriguing. We shall find out. We have the survival of Mindwind, where she went. Some of the question marks of the youth to come, but that I think that is told in different stories. The thing we need to remember about Sir Rain is he left, went into Fairy in 508 and returned in 510. So thus the weird skipping around.
Could be
All
worse.
right. It could be worse. Spent one night in Fairy, ended up losing a year and a half. No big deal. Welcome to Fairy.
Yeah.
Even 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never
right.
experienced that.
That is possible on that chart, at which you just surrender the character for like a generation. But
Muse manifested my trip to Fairy with her chat.
all right, y'all. Well, we have raiders that came in. Just want to say this is the end of our 1 year and a bit Pendragon campaign chapter. Maybe we'll come back as a group. I think our Friday crew needs to talk about what we do next, if we want to continue this, if we want to throw out other ideas, but that will be done not here. I need to call her quits. I'm sure you all do too. You did, High Fantasy TV. Sorry. We were just finished, but we'll be sure to pass on the raid. We do that all the time too, because we tend to do this late. But
This
yeah,
has been great.
Yeah, that was a really emotional episode. I hope you all at least had some closure for the things. It was really cool to see Rune still get his own form of a hero arc after last episode, because I was kind of like, good God, what's going to happen there? Yeah. Yeah.
Could have gone the other way.
Yeah. You know, we
All
got
for
to
naught.
see a little bit about the future of Bert's Cormac's manor and where that might go. You guys all were awesome. And Bert had his finale last session, and he was along mostly for the ride tonight, but I appreciate it. Poor Drax as well. He's been out for 2 sessions
All good. It
because
was
of
great.
Rolling Fairy. But why don't we do some quick outros, y'all? You can announce what you're in and anything. We'll make this a real quick 5-minute across all of us, because I know everyone's got to get going. So we will start with Yampa.
Hey guys, playing Yampa playing Rune, sorry. I'm a little bit frazzled still. Yeah, you can catch me. I don't know what we're gonna do with this, but on Thursdays over at Mark's place, the Cat's Meow something, for Orphan Blood, where we're vampires and we don't know who our sires are. Pretty dope. Other than that, I don't know. Stay tuned. See what happens with us.
Yeah, we'll talk as a group and we'll figure out what we're doing. We'll go to Wergar next.
Hey guys, Wergar. I was playing Sir Collis, and you can only catch me in Nanteleod's Legacy, I think. I think that's really it. Except I think
Your
nope, I
project?
think that's it.
Okay. Roger that. Yeah, let us know if that changes. We'll go to Drax next.
I'm Drax. I'm playing as Sir Bedweir, and my main character, Sir Rain. This is the only spot that I play right now, because life is way too damn busy, and I enjoy it immensely. It's the highlight of my week, so I look forward to playing again.
Awesome. Bert.
I'm Bert. I've been Sir Amient this week, formerly Sir Cormac. But yeah, this is the only game I play in. So if that changes, I'll keep y'all apprised of the situation.
Awesome. Trent.
Hi, I'm Trent, playing Sir Gwydir the Lascivious, Banner of Gwyn, Champion of Nanteleod and Summerland. And he failed them all. But this has been so good. It's been such a great campaign. A real joy playing with everybody here. It's been really, really powerful at the end, and it was such a great journey. And I wish I could sit down and have a beer with you all at the end of it, but I'm 24 hours away, so I won't.
Future.
I'm mostly playing here. I will be running a short little Delta Green campaign with Bob and a few other people, including Joyous Solucious, aka Cyberbro, and Thomas, I believe, aka Sir Edric. Indeed. That's coming up soon. We're going to be playing the cool intro campaign, Puppet Shows and Shadow Plays.
Awesome. And for those that are wondering who the hell Nicole is, other than Sir Elian, watch her do a magic trick with a bird. But aside from that,
Obligatory bird.
yeah.
This is
Chicken.
dedicated-
Nicole was a long-term member of the Summerlin Enchantment game on Tuesdays, and it made sense for her character to return to Escavalon, and we saw that happen on screen, and it was fitting to have you here for the finale. Do you want to shout out anything, Nicole, before we move to my last couple of shout-outs here?
Check out the Tuesday game. It's great. It's definitely more the fairy and magic. And yeah, and I was told I needed an obligatory bird.
Hello, little guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
I will note that I'll call out Cyberbro on this. He definitely managed to capture the bird pooping on your shoulder that session that happened. So
Last time? Yeah.
yeah, he saved that for us, so we can
Perfect.
keep that in our hearts.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I currently have baby chickens in my room, and was
Awesome.
Good as hell.
It adds the ambience whenever we're playing in a scene around a manor somewhere. So I'm Bob. We do, as mentioned, Pendragon Sunday nights in Salisbury, Tuesday nights in Somerset, and Friday nights in Wales. All of the games are in a finale for a chapter at least this week. The reason why we're kind of tentative on Friday is our original agreement for this game was just through Anarchy. But these guys have been a blast, and I'd be happy to continue doing something with them if it makes sense for whoever's here. But I don't want to hold anyone accountable or, put anyone on the spot. So what I will say is, if this is your last time playing in this game, you've all been awesome. It's been great having all you here. This really was a great start to finish game. And for putting together kind of a random game with a lot of people I was loosely familiar with or not familiar with at all, with maybe the exception of Drax being a long-term person I've played with. It's been a pleasure to get to know you all through this game. So awesome job, you all. Great closure.
Yeah, you guys are great.
Yeah. If you're interested in what we do here, we have a lot of really cool projects coming up temporarily in October, all of which don't involve me GMing. So if you want to check out some Roll for Wishes for Make-A-Wish Foundation, we have a small Daggerheart mini-series coming up. Trent mentioned our Delta Green. We have another Roll for Wishes Pendragon mini-series run by Liam coming up in October. We have a Vampire the Dark Ages game run by the Gentleman Gamer, a.k.a. Matthew Dawkins, featuring Lore by Night, so two pretty prominent vampire figures in the thing. And I have an interview lined up, not yet date-wise, but it looks like it'll fall in October with B. Dave Walters of the Black Dice Society and of LA by Night. So yeah, I thought I'd throw those things out there and just say thanks for watching, y'all. If you can hang out we're just going to pass on these raids, pass on the love to some of our friends. Thanks for watching, y'all, and we will see you next time. Or rather, we'll see you if we return again. Take care, everyone. By default, nights start at 21 with Kimmer culture, Christian religion, Salisbury homeland, and a random family characteristic. You can choose different options for all these. There are 5 characteristics: size, dexterity, strength, constitution, and appeal. Size and con determine total hit points and unconscious value. Size and strength determine weapon and brawling damage. Dex keeps a character upright or horsed and is used for starting weapon skills and throwing. Con also affects healing rate. App covers starting social skills, attractiveness, distinctive traits, and seating at feast. Skills have base starting values, some determined by your characteristic scores. Most skills are straightforward, but here are a few unusual ones. Recognize is used for identifying people. Folklore for general and mythical knowledge. Battle for navigating battles successfully, and hunting for navigating Britain's dense forests. There are 13 paired traits, like chaste, lustful, or valorous, cowardly, where increasing one lowers the other.